Hi everybody, so today we're off on the west side of Polperro on the coastal path doing a circular walk. Nothing too strenuous, nothing too hard, probably going to be 2 miles. The difficulty rating, I'm going to rate this one up to a 3 because there's some edges on the top coastal path which are pretty close to the edge, and so if you don't like heights this probably isn't for you. We're starting early because it's warm already. I think it's going to be an absolute scorcher. So got my water, got some poo bags, let's go. So as with all the walks in this series, I'm going to start here at the Doghouse Deli and Bar, turning left onto 4th Street. At the post office, continue straight ahead and take the right fork onto Talon Street. At the house on the Props, turn right over Roman Bridge, taking in the fantastic view of the harbour as you pass. Just after the Three Pilchards pub, turn right up the steps and continue on the path to Peak Rock for another incredible view. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, doesn't matter what season, doesn't matter what the weather's like, this view is always a stunning one. So we're taking a little detour here so I can take you down and show you the natural swimming pool called Chapel. And for a lot of people, the locals here, this is held quite dear in their hearts because generation after generation have learnt to swim in this pool. So a lot of people have got really fond feelings about it. So there you go, that's the natural swimming pool. But of course it looks very, very different when the tide's in. Let me show you.
Looks like this.
Now you really wouldn't want to be swimming when the weather's like that. So after leaving that view of Peak Rock and the natural pool on your left, keep on heading along the coast path. You're going to get a few options as to what path you want to go down. It doesn't really matter at this stage because they're all going to end up probably 3/4 of a mile further down the path at the same place before we start going uphill and completing our circle back to Polperro. So really, just take the choice, the one you fancy. One of my favourite local folklore tales is the story of how Chapel, our natural swimming pool, came to be. It is said that the devil once chose this slate and rock area behind the village to live, ideal to hide in by day and ride out into the wilds by night, unnoticed by the local community. It was on one of these nights that the devil appeared from his lair with his red eyes flaming, so frightening a sight that the rock gave way before him with a mighty split, leaving a tear that hasn't healed to this day. The devil's horse responded, rearing up to the quaking earth, thunderously crashing down onto the shaking rocks with such force that it created an everlasting impression behind of a hoof-like pool. Now of course any geologist would tell you that this split was caused by movement in the earth's plates, an earthquake. Personally, I much prefer the folklore version of events. Come on then, let's go. As we continue along the coast path, don't go up these steps, we're going to go straight on as you're a bit further. Look out for the oyster catchers here that nest just below. Bright orange beaks with black and white bodies. When flying, it looks like they have a skeleton drawn on their backs. So nice to get in the shade for a second. It's a boiling hot day. We've purposely come out early in the morning to avoid the main sunshine, but already it's an absolute scorcher. It is the middle of August, I suppose you've got to expect that. I wouldn't consider walking somewhere like Lanzalos on a day like this with my dog being old, or any dog really, because it's just too much. Make sure you bring water, and the other thing you've got to consider is you may, on a boiling hot day like this, come across the occasional snake. I've never seen one. But it's a perfect environment for them and they might be basking on the rocks. So do bear that in mind and keep your dog well away if you do see one. So do remember to watch your footing as you walk along here, because as you can see there's some parts of the path that are starting to fall away a little bit, and it could be a little bit dangerous. You're straight on here for Lansalos and Polperro, but we're now heading right up this hill. We're about halfway now. So of course no walk in Polperro is complete without going up a hill, and this one's no exception. So it does go on a bit, but it's well worth the views at the top. So as you come to this little fork, well, you're going to continue to go uphill. Come on, Jones. And now we go down into a wooded area, which is nice on a day like today because it's very, very hot up here. In April, this little area is carpeted in bluebells. Jones, get back! Get back! Jones, get back! Okay, so I've been trying to film one of these for what, 2 years now? And here we are, now I've got one in front of me, I'm totally freaked out. I think it's a male, and I think it's a large male. He's got to be nearly 3 foot. And they say they're shy, and that he's a lot more frightened of me than I am him, but I'm not so sure about that. I can't believe how quickly he moves. Whoa, 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 that's a bit too close. Well, there you go, off he goes in the right direction. That was a bit of an adrenaline rush, but amazing. That was quite a treat to see. An adder, Britain's only venomous snake, here on the southwest coast path in its natural environment. Don't let that put you off coming for a walk here. That's a really, really rare sighting. I've been walking my dog up here every day for years, and it's the first time I've seen one, so I'm absolutely chuffed. If you do see one, don't let your dog get anywhere near it. Keep your dog well away, because they can give a nasty bite. It's unlikely. They're only going to do that if they're startled or if they're frightened. So 9 times out of 10, they're going to disappear off the coast path before you even see them. But for me, amazing to see. In the highly unlikely event that your dog does get bitten by an adder, firstly don't panic and keep your dog as calm and quiet as possible. If you're able, try to carry your dog or restrict their movement. Leave the bite site alone and take them to the nearest vet as soon as possible. On a brighter note, 96% of dogs bitten by adders make a full recovery within 5 days if treated by a vet. When you reach the stone wall, turn left. We're now heading down the steps, passing the old church, leading us back into the village. Everybody needs good neighbours, right? After a quick drink, we continue down Little Laney and turn left onto Lansalos Street. Now it's right at Cooch's restaurant onto Big Green. And left again at the post office onto 4th Street, making our way back to the Doghouse Deli and Bar. Well, that was even hotter than I thought it was going to be. That was a warm day out there today. Nice walk. In the past I've seen oyster catchers fishing, I've seen deer running around on the path in the wooded area, but today we had the added bonus of seeing this adder, which was amazing. As I said before, I can't stress enough, don't let it put you off going for a walk up there. It's very, very rare to see one. Usually by the time you get to their basking spot, they're long gone. They feel the vibrations, they hear you coming, they're shy, they're out of there. I'm glad I saw it before Jones did, because that can create a problem, but don't worry about it. It's very, very rare to see them. But now I've got to open the shop, and I think Jones will spend the rest of the day sleeping. It's a dog's life. See you later.